Same thing goes for the valve. So here's the valve. This is how it's made. You'll notice that the Bach valve is a little too small. There's not a full circle here. I mean, on normal valves, it's not an entire circle, but it's a little more full in this, so it's actually closing off the airway a little bit. I don't have a problem with this instrument. It plays really well, but some with two valves and like 42s and stuff are a little closed off for my taste. And so like these chambers, which is where the air goes through, it just rotates 90 degrees and changes which way they go. They can get pretty dirty. I like to put, like soap on my finger and I just go clean them out. There's a little bit of green gunk on here, but I'm not going to worry about it. These sides can get dirty, both of them. Just try and get everything off, but don't use anything abrasive. I don't know what this is. Oh, this is a piece of like a pull-off thing that you get on clothes. I don't know how it got in my valve. That's horrible. Anyway, don't do that. Yeah, this is really clean though. Most instruments, if they're older, will not be shiny, like brand new looking shiny brass like the bell is right now. So don't worry about it being perfect. And don't use anything abrasive. You want this to be smooth. And if you use anything that might be abrasive, try and go with the direction of the valve so you're not putting in the wrong grain. Alright, so there's the valve. Just a little bit of nastiness, like corrosion looks like up here. And you're going to get dirty. There's lots of oil on this. Gets everywhere. Alright, so that's pretty simple. I have some rotor oil here. I'm going to put some on. So you cleaned it out. You cleaned out your valve wrap, which is pretty easy. Just use a snake. Take out your valve tuning slide or tuning slides and get it all wet. Fill it up with soap. Snake them out. Try not to abrade the valve at all. Keep it nice and smooth. And make sure when you're putting the valve down, like if you have to put it down on bottom of a bathtub or something, put it on something, so like paper towels, a towel, so it's not on another hard surface, because that other hard surface is probably going to win against brass. And you just don't want to dent it. Don't drop it, because if you get like a ding, it might just totally ruin it, and you'll have to take it in and you'll have to take off some material or something. And the valve casing is also weak. I mean, it's not super weak, but it's stronger with a valve in it. So make sure you don't get any big dings in it or something, because then you won't even be able to get the valve back in. Alright, so pretty simple here. If you really want to oil your valves, this is the way to do it. Get this up. Just put oil on everything that the valve touches. So the sides, the bottom, the bearing, which is the round part of the bottom. If oil's coming out, you're probably doing it right. I usually put a little more on the valve itself, but that's fine right now. Make sure it's spinning smoothly. Then I put a little more on the top here, because this is all bearing. More on that bearing. And then you put this guy back in. So you'll notice it has marks. I'm not sure if you can see those. It has like a cut, and so does the casing. So you want to line those up. You put this on, keeping this out of the way. That's the annoying part about this block. And you try and line up those marks, and then you push this on using equal force on all sides, because it's a circle. Kind of push that in. Hopefully that's lined up. I think it is. And then check to see if the valve turns. And this is the hardest part. This valve, this is really easy. I'm not sure if it's because of Bach or what, but it's really easy to put this on tubas and stuff. There's lots more surface area. Some other valves, putting the backplate on is a chore. You have to I usually get out my rubber mallet and I tap one in one place, once in another place, once in another place, and eventually I'll get it just right so that it's sitting completely square against the valve and the valve casing. And put this back on. Let that relax. Oops, hit my screen. Valve's turning completely fine. If I let it go, it just kind of spins for a little bit. That's great. You want it to do that. Actually, yeah, let's leave this off for a second. I want to show you something. Take that off. And then connect this. There's only going to be one way you can connect these. Like this has a square, 3 square sides, and then a curved side. So then the curved side is the only one that's going to match up Boom, put this on. Sometimes you'll have to hammer this back on very lightly, especially in tubas. I don't know why I have so much trouble with tubas. Alright, so that's back on. Oil everywhere. Man, my hands are so greasy now. Screw this back in. Get back on there. There's my screwdriver. And notice I do not tighten this very much. I'm tightening against the bumper, but I'm doing it very lightly. Just until it's all the way in. There's just a little bit of resistance. Never over tighten anything on an instrument. Okay, so, and this one's weird because I think whoever modified this, because it has new linkage. Oops! It has new linkage that's newer than the old stuff and way better. I think they changed the valve orientation by 90 degrees. You'll see these witness marks, as they're called, and this one lines up perfectly right now, and then it would line up again if it, like rotated the other way, or if it was 90 degrees this way. And you want to make sure, and these aren't always right, but I trust them over intuition, I guess. Make sure this lines up, and then make sure that lines up against the valve, because then you're getting the optimum amount of turnage, I guess. Whoa, my God! Okay, there's the valve cap. Doesn't really matter if you bang this up, as long as it screws back on. Oh no, oh no. I'm just kidding, it's fine. Baca threads are kind of iffy. There we go. And I just tighten that a little bit, because if you get this too tight, you're never going to get it off again without vice grips. And I actually have a pair of those just in case. And there we go. It's nice and fast. Okay, and so if your valve is out of alignment and... Okay, let's get a better angle here. If your valve is out of alignment and those witness marks don't line up when it's at rest or engaged, you basically have to make sure these bumpers are the right length. And so the resting bumper on mine was too short, and so I had to stuff some paper towel in under the bumper. These are really weird sizes. I don't know what size these are, but you can buy bumper stock from Hickeys and stuff, and you just cut off a piece, stuff it in there. And there's lots of different types, like rubber and whatnot. Yeah, so there you go. That's how you take apart a valve, put it back together. Make sure you oil everything. I've just put Hetman oil on the valve. I would also put on some bearing and linkage oil. Oops, I'm obscuring this. I need to put it there, just on the bearing for the lever. And then I'd put ball joint oil on the two ball joints. And that makes it nice and fast and quiet. If it's loud, it's probably because one of these is loose. Any one of these things could be loose, or you're hitting something hard at the bumpers. It's usually because something's loose, though, like the back plate. These guys, this, or these, or this, all could be loose. So there you go. I'll see you next time, YouTube. Hopefully you guys give me some good suggestions. Might even play some music. Be careful with your instruments. Don't bang them up. Make sure you don't get oil on everything. I've got oil all over my hands. This thing is soaked through. I usually do this in my lap, not on a desk. So, just be careful. And I'll see you next time, YouTube.